Hello, Scorpio. How you doing? Hello. So, I have already pulled out the cards for your, at least the oracle cards anyway, for your uh, general advice reading for the energy. Um, and I'm really loving it. I'm a Scorpio, right? And it could be just my energy, which is still outstanding because I pull cards for myself. And what I'm trying to say is, the first card, okay, for you, Scorpio, right, that came out is patience, okay? And I liked it. But when I really like it is when the second oracle card came out. I haven't read the bottom of it. We'll read it when I get back to that card. But what I did read was the Heron, patience. And then to really blend these two energies together, it came out with a great oracle card that really does explain patience in the life experience that's going on now, probably in many others. But it's a very storytelling because the unending sadness of looking back. And for real, patience, you got two patience cards, right? That is so true. It is a unending sadness of looking back. It's something that's so uncontrollable. It's something that is so magnet. It's something that challenges you. It is something that molds you. It transforms you. And it is just such a true factor. And, for real, patience for me so far, walking into this month, I felt it really at the end of May. But for real, Scorpio, it's still here. Patience is that unending sadness for looking back. And that energy is very true. So, Scorpio, what is this patience needed for? Right? For real, Scorpio, the patience could be needed for any and everything. For example, my patience comes from being into a trine position. Now, I don't know if Scorpio trine with any is representing or corresponding or connecting with, whichever is the right word, with a planet in a trine position. I haven't looked right there, right? And the ones that I did do didn't involve Scorpio. So right now I don't know. But what I'm talking about is my personal situation, okay? So I'm in a very trying situation. And it's really my way out too. I could see the door. I could see all of it. But what's dragging it along is that patience. That patience bring about inside of me while I'm going through this, that unending sadness of looking back. Because it's not the first time I've been patient. It's not the first time that I had to walk through a door. It might be the first time I'm walking through this door. But being in this energy is not the first time. So knowing that it's not the first time, I have that itch and that bug to look back, because it's also a strength or a courage to remind me I've been here before. It won't easy then, but I can have a choice of making it a lot easier now than then. The inexperience and the experience of it is the key to it. Is a very good key in it. Okay? So let's get 4 cards for the first patient. Okay? And let's see what it's talking about. And this, this part of the training position because, it's higher authorities. It's a supernatural reality in me. Okay? So that's where my training position is at. I have 4 cards, please. So Scorpio, what we're beginning off with is the Page of Pentacles. That's patience. And the 2 of Swords. What more patience feeling can you have than this? Is the time to not make a big decision. It is time to see the big picture, but take the pieces in small chunks to put it together the right way. And that's where that Page of Pentacles come in. It's taking those little small pieces. Is either you going to classify yourself as a painter, a interior designer, a commercial designer, a fashion designer. Those many things. Without having a specific timeline, without putting the pressure of what needs to get done. This is a project. It's the mentality you have to have. You have a project without a deadline. The only deadline that should possibly be existing is whatever one you feel when your clock gonna stop. And if that deadline is out there in a big number, then you know you got time. This is a project. This is how this patience need to be viewed and seen and experienced. Why? Because you also had a 2 of Cups and a 4 of Wands. There's intruders around. There's copycats. There's leeches. There are watchers. You have a whole community within this 2 of Cups and this 4 of Wands that's here. The 2 of Cups is the expression of the illusion of what you limited to seeing and who's the occupants that's involved. The 4 of Wands is just a community. The good part about it is the fact no major arcana came out, and these is all minor arcanas. So being that it has minor arcanas, it's an obstacle course. You're at least not on a war zone, but you on an obstacle course. And really, that's kind of realistic if anybody understands anything about patience. Patience is a dagger of love. It's the dagger of love. It could kill, patience could kill love so quickly. And it can make love last forever. Two of Cups and Two of Wands. So bittersweet. Patience it is. So moving on to the next card, we have the Herring with patience. And it reads, create a place in nature's stillness and be renewed. Take time alone to find balance. Step confidently towards your purpose. Patience will bring you rewards. I'll say one period of time of understanding patience, I would sit there and say, bullshit. Patience don't bring no goddamn rewards. But at the conscious level I am at, patience bring rewards that's not always tangible. Because patience itself is not tangible. It's nothing that you could feel. And that's a sense. The ability to feel is a sense. But it don't operate with that sense. It don't necessarily operate with the sense of sight. See, the sense of sight is that Two of Cups and that Two of Swords. But the Four of Wands, because sight is what's given to you, even if you're blind, you have a unique sight. If you were a visionary, you have a unique sight. So sight is something that's very foundational. But to understand the craft in it, or the craft within inside of you, it's the mystery that develops through the Page of Cups. But let's get the cards, because I'm just rolling over the energy. Let's see what card is going to come out for this patience. Okay? Can I have 4 cards for this patience? Two more cards, please. One card flipped over and one of them didn't, so I'm going to take the card that flipped over and put the other card back. So, can't miss nothing. That's a lie. I ain't even going to say that lie. So, why I say that's a lie? Because when you desire to make a goal or to make something out of yourself or to obtain something that seems of your pleasure, you missing what you don't have. And it turns to your motivation. And it's on you to decide when you're supposed to take a break on the motivation. And I understand the difference between quitting, failing, and acceptance, that neither one of them existed. It just was an experience for you to understand your tolerance level. Which brings me to the Seven of Cups and the King of Cups is the first 2 cards that came out. Hold on, I need to get something to drink. I had a tickle in that throat. The Seven of Cups and the King of Cups. The temptation. The thing is, The choices in your decisions can bring you a certain type of pleasure that is going to determine the strength of your patience. Whatever the situations that you're going to be experiencing out this month, is like you have to sit back and ask yourself, is this pulling me more to be impatient, or is this building me to be patient? And if it's building me to be patient, do you really understand what you're being patient for? If it's drawing you in, is it really wrong that it's drawing you in if you still moving slow and creeping through the process? So I'm really playing that devil's advocate to leave those decisions up to yourself when I'm saying this. I'm making you think about it on all ways. But what I'm trying to do also is to hope that you open up to the point that you could see where your reward is located. You might not be able to see your reward, but maybe you could see that door that holds that reward. And at least if you need to turn southwest, northeast, or so forth and so on in a certain amount of degrees, you could be able to know how to do that while you're going through the month. So that means that temptation is there that's going to navigate you to get closer to the door, and it's going to put you so close that you're going to feel like you golfing. So think about being on that golf course, or whatever knowledge you might have about golfing. And so the next card is the Queen of Swords in Temperance. That goes back to what I'm talking about with that temptation and the ability to, you got the strength to cut it off and to go all in. Is going all in going to adjust your reward? Maybe, maybe not. That's what Temperance is at. It's no fun without the suspense or the thriller. Meaning we all have a sense of suspense, thriller when it comes to a relationship. We might not necessarily see the person, or we could say we saw the person. We got all this imagery and everything going on. And that is really enticing. And you could either meet the exact image, or you could meet the traits that make that image become reality. Now it's like being in a garden or a flower bed or anything of that such. If you're a grower for these states that's legalized, is putting that seed there and watching what unfolds. You have a picture, or say you go pick up the seeds, right? And it's a flower pack. So you had a picture of what the flower is supposed to bloom to be. But at the same time, if it's a colorful one, it can say the colors could be variant, right? So you waiting to see them bloom to see the variations. And that's kind of like that Queen of Swords and Temperance. You tilling the situation. You got to be active in it. You got to be focused in it. You know what I'm saying? I hope you catching what I'm saying. And it's all about patience. Because, to see it unfold, you got to have some patience. Right? Yes. You got to have patience. So now over here we got the unending sadness of looking back, endless regret, excessive grief, replaying the past, and the negative thoughts. That's the most common negative nostalgia. And you know, sometimes right now, especially negative nostalgia might be very popular because it's all about cutting off this energy. You don't need this in your life. Family could be toxic. You don't need them. You don't need them. But if we think about everybody who's saying it, from preachers to readers to kids, that this is this theme, and then we're experiencing a high death rate in the world, right? But we can't connect the dots. Because the only thing that you're telling the universe is we are toxic and we don't need to be here. But and then in your subconscious, you like, I really wasn't referring to me. I was referring to everything else that's going out here. And you placing yourself into that negative nostalgia. It's also a form of excessive grief because you're grieving over things you have no control over. It's an endless regret because life is infinity. So kids are still being born, animals still being born, trees reincarnate all the time. Bam is just some fixation right here. So having endless regret, you still living your life in it. You know, everything toxic, they toxic, they toxic, they toxic, they toxic, they toxic. Everything is just so toxic. And when wasn't it toxic? I mean, what makes humans more toxic than the atmosphere? If it takes humans to judge the atmosphere or to show something that makes it feel like the atmosphere is safe, then you convince it's not toxic. But at the same time, other planets that's similar to this planet is toxic and can't sustain this type of life form, but we not toxic only because we can sustain this life form. But then who say they can't sustain life form when they have water and trees and such? We just don't see what their life form is because maybe they got better technology. Since I mean, right now at this point in time, we booming in the technology. Why wouldn't they be booming in technology? So what really give us the right to say another planet is so toxic when ours is just as toxic? I mean, it shoot out volcanoes, it will poison you. I mean, anything that we have made in chemistry, or what we done have made for weapons, this world had to come with toxicity, and we harvest that energy. So if this planet is an energetic being and we harvesting that energy, what is really toxic? That's that endless regret. You feel what I'm saying? You're just going to be stuck in it, which is also replaying the past. You replaying the past without realizing you replaying the past because it was toxic then. I mean, whether it took a meteoroid or whether it was a clash of the titans, something that's supposed to destroy dinosaurs, something comes out once in a while that this food is contaminated, salamine poison from interacting with animals, getting contaminated in food, but we grow different. I mean, what isn't toxic? So all this toxicity conversation is just really negative nostalgia. It's negative nostalgia. So when you in these energies, and what I'm saying, our current environment is like that, everybody got this patience. They got enough patience to continue to look at it from the negativity or the negative point of view. Which negative, if you go by the line, supposed to represent masculine. If you go by positive, they're supposed to represent female. So I'm just saying, you got to think about language. It matters. But at the same time, the part that people is in a draft is the overall theme of patience. That's how patience could engulf and keep a collective environment going. Same thing in patience is in childbirth. Patience is in old age. Patience, like I said, is nothing tangible. It's a metaphysics, a ingredient. And we describe it as something as an action. So let's get your 4 cards, Scorpio, for this final one. Alright? Let's get this final clarification and see what it really want me to talk about. I'm so adorable when I say these words. Y'all probably hear the kids. I know y'all can. I mean, on other videos it was heard. My windows is open. I love that air when I'm doing my reading. When I'm doing my recording readings. Three more cards, please. Seven of Cups return. And Death. That's unique. Want to know why? Because that's 2 13s. There's a 13 on the number of patience and 13 for death. And I just really just sat there and explained everything. Patience is in death. You don't make it an old age without patience. And that's just the energy itself, the frequency itself, not the vibration. The vibration is more of the action. But the frequency itself, what extends life. So, we have the Page of Cups. We have the Lovers. So, we have the 2 of Cups over here, right? People talk about the 2 of Cups could be part of the Lovers card on the manner side of it, right? Possibility. We also got the 4 of Wands, which could be about the Lover side. So, when we put these 2 energies together, maybe just forming this Lovers card. And that's just the foundation of patience. Patience is a sadness. Love, like I said, love in the beginning is that dagger for patience. It will have patience could break up any relationship, and patience could make any relationship better. Patience alone, it's a double-edged sword. It's that Lovers, it's that contract, it's that binding thing. And that's just the ifs, ands, or buts. And that's why the Page of Cups is here. Because it's so adolescent in the vocabulary and in the conscious mind. It's not an adult theme. It's an application process, and it's a tool that is used as a weapon when choose to be used as a weapon, which brings us to the 7 of Cups. The options of the way to apply patience, the theory in it. It's always going to be transformable. It's always going to be bendable. It's always going to be breakable. It's always going to come back together. It's always going to be what it is, non-tangible. And it's going to flow on that frequency that it belongs on. And we're going to ride that wave. because we like that wave. Even if we like the wave just to get old and feel that dream. If we like the wave because we done had a hard life and we done went through it and you took that chill time for yourself and you finally found somebody that really is making you happy and the rest of your days so far is bliss. It took that patience. When you're going through school, and that's even from elementary to high school, any kind of educational system, it takes that patience to respect that authority, to sit there and sit in that seat, to remain conscious. It takes that patience to apply your goals, whatever grade you want, to blend into the system. It takes that patience, whether on how to socialize and how to mingle, whether it's online or whether it's in person. It takes patience. Patience is just a gift that was given. And as much as a gift is, some of us can honestly admit, even when people give us gifts, it don't mean that we like the gift. We will play it off. We could even wait until they get there, ask them for a receipt. Some of us could be more forceful. You got a receipt? Can you take this back? That's still patience when you ask for it. Because now you waiting for that person to return it back and see what they're going to do. So you still got patience no matter how short, how long it is. It's patience. So let's go ahead and make sure that we're going to recap this, Scorpio. Patience is your theme for the month. Patience is an unending sadness of looking back. Patience is something that's painful and something that's happy. Patience is a permanent frequency that is manipulated, that has many vibrations. The frequency manipulates the vibrations of your environment, your consciousness, the way you apply it. But whatever way that you're going to utilize and you have it at this point in time is there. It could be short, it could be thin. You could still be argumentative because your patience told you you need to express yourself right then. Patience is all about your actions. And it's going to stand out more during this month of June. So good luck, Scorpio.